Hi everyone. This week I'm going to be talking on my predictions on the most difficult division in baseball, in my opinion, the NL East. The NL East has four very good teams and the fifth team, which is in rebuild mode. The NL East teams are the Washington Nationals, the Atlanta Braves, the Philadelphia Phillies, the Miami Marlins, and the New York Mets. Let's start with the Washington Nationals. The Nationals, even though they haven't done many moves this offseason, they have done a pretty important signing for them. The signing of free agent Patrick Corbin, who's a starting pitcher who they signed on a 6-year deal worth $140 million. Other things the Nationals have done have been trade for first baseman Matt Adams and right-handed pitcher Anibal Sanchez, who's supposed to be on their starting rotation next season. They also traded for Kyle Barraclough, who they traded from the Marlins. And well, how does this affect the Nationals? The Nationals with all those trades, they now have one of the best rotations in baseball, which includes Max Scherzer, Stephen Strasburg, and now also Patrick Corbin. It also includes right now Anibal Sanchez, who I told you they traded for. So, and my prediction is the Washington Nationals end up not winning the division, but instead going to the wild card game. They will have a very powerful team, but I think they will fall just short from the division leader. The second team I'm going to talk about are the Atlanta Braves. The Braves had a surprising year last year, in which they won the division, and I didn't even expect them to get into the wild card, so it blew me away. And this year, and this offseason, they've done a pretty good job. They signed the veteran catcher, Brian McCann, who they signed on a 1-year deal worth $2 million, and they also signed one of the best third basemen in the game, Josh Donaldson, who they signed on a 1-year deal worth $23 million. So, how does this affect the Braves? The Braves really they are a surprising team because they this offseason they didn't sign much. They did sign pretty talented players, but what they really earned this season was their young base players they grew up, they earned experience. I say in 2 years they're gonna make the playoffs again, but this year I think they're just not gonna make the playoffs at all. They're gonna have a good year, but not good enough. Well, let's get to the third team, the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies have done an spectacular job this offseason. They traded for Gene Segura. They signed outfielder Andrew McCutchen on a 3-year deal worth $50 million. $50 million, with a $15 million club option for a 4th year. And well, they're not done yet. They should go for another outfielder. I say AJ Pollock. They are trying to sign Manny Machado and Bryce Harper. I say they have more chance on signing Machado than Harper. But let's see how things go. I did an entire video on that. You can check it out. So, well, I'm pretty confident that the Philadelphia Phillies are going to sign someone. I don't know who. I'm pretty sure he's going to be really talented. And I recommend them to sign if they need an outfielder, I'll say AJ Pollock. If they need a catcher, they have the money. They don't have a pretty high payroll, but let's see how this offseason goes. I say they sign 1 or 2 more pretty good players, and my prediction is they'll make the wild card. As the second team in the wild card, the first in the National League will be the Washington Nationals. The second team will be the Philadelphia Phillies. Let's keep on going to the Miami Marlins. This hasn't been such a dramatic offseason like it was last year, in which they traded all their superstar players. This year, they really have done only one pretty good thing. They signed Victor Mesa Jr. and his brother Victor Mesa, who are the number one. Who Victor Mesa is the number one ranked international prospect in the game, and I'm sure he's gonna have a great future. Let's hope he gets 500. He's in the 500 home run club, I think. So yeah, Victor Mesa. I think he's gonna make the Marlins roster. If he isn't in an opening day, he'll make it somewhere around, let's say, 3 months into the season, 4 months. Let's see how the Marlins want to handle that. But well, my prediction: the Marlins will win a few more games than what they won last year. I'll say they'll end up 77 and 70 with 77 wins and 85 losses. And well, yeah, so they will have a great year based on their youth. But I'm really confident on the Marlins rebuild, and I'm like 90% sure they're gonna win the World Series in the next in 5 years. They'll win the World Series. Okay, so let's move on to the fifth team, the New York Mets. The New York Mets changed their dynasty on October 30th, something like that, when they changed their general manager to Brodie Van Wagen. Brodie Van Wagen has done many changes since he arrived. One of the most notable has been trading for Robinson Cano, All-Star Robinson Cano, and All-Star closer Edwin Diaz. He also signed Wilson Ramos and re-signed Jeurys Familia. And if you do not know, he also signed Rajai Davis to a minor league contract and invited him to spring training. So yeah, I would say that they should sign AJ Pollock, the Mets, to get them outfield depth. They today or yesterday they traded for Buxton from the Milwaukee Brewers. So yeah, the only thing the Mets are missing is a pitching depth. Maybe sign a fifth or fourth in the lineup in the rotation, starting pitching, and they'll be ready. My opinion: the Mets are gonna win the division. They're gonna go all the way to the World Series, and the thing that will haunt them will be if they get into the DL, if they start hurting themselves. But I think if they're still healthy by the World Series, they'll win it. That's what I think. Though they just have to sign one or two more pretty good players, or one. It doesn't have to be a pretty good player. It just has to give them depth. But that's my opinion. So, well, hope you like this video. Those are my predictions. The New York Mets are gonna win the 2019 World Series.